Hey team, welcome to the show today. In this episode, I want to talk to you about being a leader in your life. This is a time in our world where we need more leaders. I truly believe that we need better leadership on every level, especially in sort of the everyday realm, like in homes and in business. But I think there's confusion about what leadership actually is. I think a lot of people get turned off by the terms leader and leadership, or maybe it just feels overwhelming or unattainable for some people. Maybe we just sort of associate leadership with the upper echelons of business or government. But the reality is that every single one of us has a leader within. We all have the ability to have powerful impact and influence in the world. This is something I'm so passionate about. I actually think it's who we are born to be when we live into our best selves. We are all leaders. We are all people of impact. But we forget. We forget that we're powerful. We forget that we're always having influence. We lose our awareness of it. And that has impact on our ability to be leaders. And this is a conversation that feels timely, seeing as we're transitioning from summer season into fall, which generally feels a little bit more focused and intentional, that fall energy. So let's dive into this. Now, I'll be honest, sometimes I even get a little annoyed with the word leader because of the way that leadership is portrayed in so many ways. I think, we can get kind of tired of it. Like many people associate leadership with business or corporate structure. And we have this image of someone like maybe speaking in front of a bunch of people or pointing at a slide deck. The reality is there's leadership happening in every realm of the world. At all ages, at all walks of life, any economic status. When you start paying attention, there are unassuming leaders all around us. They're everywhere. The woman who's raising 3 kids, managing a home, maybe also balancing a career, keeping track of multiple people's schedules, making sure people are having meals, the fridge is stocked, the house is clean, people are getting to appointments on time. She might be helping people thrive emotionally in her home. That person is a true leader. You might have a son who's taking care of his aging parents and coordinating doctor's visits and medical bills and maybe possible moves that transition people into different living situations while also managing his own life. That person is a leader. Then you have the manager, right, who has multiple people as direct reports, dealing with company culture, sales goals, trying to enhance productivity, but also care about the morale of the team. That person is a leader. And I could go on and on. There's hundreds of examples of this because it doesn't really matter what the role is. It doesn't really matter how you identify your job or your title or what you do, that part of your identity. That's not all that makes you a leader. It's more the qualities you embody and the way you show up in a space. And that's actually what I want to focus on today, the qualities that signify true leadership. So let's start with self-awareness. When you know yourself, when you know your strengths, but also your blind spots, you have this unique ability to handle situations at a higher level than somebody who doesn't know themselves very well. Why? Why is this? Because with self-awareness comes the ability to self-manage. And what I mean by that is you're way more likely to manage your thoughts and feelings and behaviors when you have an understanding of yourself. Think about the last time you got frustrated. Maybe, traffic, maybe something at work, maybe something at home. How did you handle it? Did everyone know that you were frustrated? Did you vent or bitch or complain? Did it throw you off completely? Did you have a little internal tantrum? People who practice self-awareness, they're not exempt from feeling all those kinds of emotions or having negative thoughts or struggling with things. They're just way better at managing it. They don't let it get them down or trip them up. They don't let it ruin their day or their week or their month. They don't get caught up in the emotional moment. They manage it within themselves. Because when you know your limiting beliefs, when you know who your saboteurs are, when you know the things that can negatively impact your perspective, your triggers, and you have practice mastering those, you're at an advantage over someone who has no experience doing this. This is something that my coaching clients talk about all the time. They're like, how do I get other people to start coaching too so that we can be on the same level? They are less reactive and more proactive. When you have self-awareness, You just have a greater ability to separate the data from the drama. You're less likely to get sucked into problem energy, which usually involves getting stuck in the mud with other people about details of circumstances, or maybe swirling around negative emotions like anger or frustration, blame or comparison. With greater self awareness comes a better ability to listen and hear people out, because you're not threatened by other people's points of views or opinions. You're secure in yourself and you're confident in who you are. With self awareness comes a desire to listen more, learn new perspectives, have new experiences, and always be learning new things. And this takes me to my second quality in a leader. A leader has a growth mindset. You probably heard this term before. Carol Dweck, she made this term famous with her book Mindset. But it's the idea that you're always learning and that you're open to new perspectives and new possibilities. Your mindset is not fixed, rather, it's growth. You have the ability to shift and grow. I have a friend who always used to say, ABL, ABL, always be learning. And she couldn't have been more right. I mean, that's growth mindset. Thanks for that, Caitlin. And it's true. I bet you know people in your life who have a fixed mindset. And I bet it's actually really challenging to interact with them sometimes. It makes sense. People who have a fixed mindset, they struggle in this world because by nature, the only constant in the world is change. So when you're dealing with somebody who has a fixed mindset, oh man, they're always pushing up and having a battle against the constant change in the world. A fixed mindset is often rooted in fear, and it's fear that basic needs won't be met. So basic needs like security or safety, worthiness, belonging, feeling loved. And if we go back to that first quality of self-awareness, this is another reason why self-awareness is so essential. You have to learn and understand what fears you really have at the core so that you can manage them and shift yourself from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. Unfortunately, for many people who believe that things are black and white, they are in struggle big time because the world is a very gray place, isn't it? And I mean gray in the sense that there's so many shades in between the black and white. Many coaching clients of mine say they struggle with this thing. We can call it all or nothing mindset, black and white thinking, perfectionism. It could be, fixed mindset, whatever. It's all kind of one and the same. Essentially, it's discomfort with all the shades of gray. They want it to be clear cut. And it's just not like that, baby. It's just not like that in this world. And I've had to learn this so many times the hard way. But a growth mindset requires that we release some of our control and we be open to new ways of thinking and being. Get curious and have that open heart and that open mind. Another crucial quality of being a leader is ownership. You've heard me talk about radical ownership before. It's one of my main things. And just a reminder, radical ownership is taking personal responsibility for every single thing in your life. All of your circumstances, all of your past experiences, all of your behaviors, actions, thoughts, beliefs, perspectives. And this is not a comfortable idea for many people because we live in a culture where it is very common and acceptable to blame other things and other circumstances. I mean, it's so common. I still catch myself doing this almost every day. It's so much to unlearn when you commit to taking radical ownership. People actually get mad at me for describing this idea. But this kind of ownership is one of the fastest ways to freedom, team, because you're now fully in charge of your own life and you're not beholden to other people's opinions or emotions or behaviors. You don't have to wait for someone else to change or act right for you to be able to find the solutions that you want in your life. Take, for example, dealing with a conflict with someone, any kind of conflict. You have to ask yourself, what can I own here? It might be feelings you have, like anger or frustration or shame or regret. Then you have to own what led to it. Well, I made some mistakes, or I made the best decision I could with the information that I had at the time, or maybe I just screwed up and acted out of fear. And then you own what comes next. Like, what action do I take? Do I apologize? Do I need to clear the air? Do I need to own up to things? Or maybe I just need to communicate more or express my needs or what I want. Maybe I need to let it go. And then you have to decide what is yours to own moving forward, which is really owning your reactions and releasing outcomes because you're not in control of those. And a big part of struggle for people is trying to control what is not theirs to own. It's just this whole process. Do you see that? And this is probably the most important quality in a leader in my mind. It's the thing that I've been working on the most in my life and the thing that has actually moved the needle more than anything. It takes a hell of a lot of practice and it's ongoing. There's no end to taking ownership in your life. You just get better at it and quicker to recognize that you truly only have control over you and your internal terrain. Now, there's a couple other qualities in leaders that I also think are really important, and I'm just going to touch on them quickly. Preparation. Preparation is key. You've definitely heard me talk about this before, but if you're not prepared for things, you are not thinking like a leader. If you're not planning ahead and taking good care of yourself, thinking about what you might need to be ready to show up with your very best energy, you're not thinking like a leader. It doesn't mean you're perfect. It doesn't mean that you're prepared for everything. It just means you are thoughtful and intentional about how you show up in your day-to-day. Self-care and self-respect, these things are really important when it comes to preparation. Another one is the ability to see possibility. Seeing possibility is crucial when you're thinking like a leader. It's that ability to see things that are beyond your current circumstances. And this is really connected to that growth mindset idea because it shows that you can think expansively and creatively in order to identify the opportunities and the possibilities out there in the world and see something different for yourself. And it's not a requirement that you have the skills or the network or the resources in this very exact moment for that possibility you're seeing. It's more about having a vision and having the courage to say, okay, I'm going to go out and learn how to do this stuff. I'm going to meet the people I need to meet so that you can get to the vision. And this quality in people, it also speaks to their resilience because people who see possibility, they're often more quickly able to view their challenge as an opportunity. They're not so fixated on the current reality because they really do understand that current reality is just here for a minute and then soon it's in the past. So we can't be over fixated on it. Okay, a couple more here. Having a tolerance to extremity. And what do I mean by that? A tolerance to extremity is the ability to tolerate hard or extreme circumstances in a way that others are not. And this can be as simple as tolerating the pain you experience when you're working out or the discipline it takes to be consistent with a healthy habit. So tolerance to extremity means you have an increased ability to handle stress because you've had controlled exposures to stressors. So there's a distinction between just being chronically stressed and reactive and having a tolerance to extremity. And the differentiating factor is that you choose to expose yourself to stressors. Like it's on purpose so that you can build up your resilience and your tolerance to them. You know, the simplest, most basic example I can think of is someone who trains really hard on a regular basis. They're choosing to be uncomfortable so they can build that tolerance. Lastly, and this is something I talk a lot about when it comes to having impact, is the ability to be consistent. Consistency is king, baby. So many people give up on things before they've ever really gotten started. They forget that it's just really the small, consistent actions that you take every single day that end up allowing you to cover huge amounts of ground over time. Consistency is a huge part of being a powerful leader and having impact in your world. I mean, nobody wants to be around somebody who's high one day and low the next day. It's just so freaking stressful to be around that energy and those people. Your influence becomes random and inconsistent and ineffective, and it weakens the foundation for anything that you're involved in when you're coming in hot one day and getting really low the next day. So consistency is a big one. Obviously, there are so many more qualities we could cover when it comes to leadership, but the bottom line is We all have the potential to be powerful leaders in our sphere, in our own personal space. And in fact, guys, we need to be those leaders. Your family needs you to step up and be a leader. Your spouse needs you to step up and be a leader in your family. This is not just about business or career. It's about being a powerful person and getting to live the life that you want. You can be a leader who's quiet and calm and strong. It doesn't always have to be about being assertive or loud or being at the front of the room. It can look any way you want. But it's time to step it up. Somebody in your world needs your leadership and your confidence and your impact. The truth is, if you're listening to this podcast, it's probably you. You are probably the one who can take on this leadership because you're already pursuing it, really. And why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we take it on? It only benefits our life and our family's lives and our friends and our colleagues. It only leads to more solutions and less problems. And it only leads to this elevated way of living. So let's freaking go. Let's tap into the ability that lives within us to show up and lead. I know that so many people will thank you for the effort and appreciate all these qualities that you bring. I know that when I think about my relationship with my wife, I'm so appreciative of the fact that she is a leader in her spaces and she works to practice and embody these qualities every day. I'm so appreciative of what it does for our family and our relationship and how it benefits our life together. And I know that she appreciates that about me. I know she appreciates that I work to consistently be growing and trying to become a better leader. She's told me that. The same will be true for you. Your kids will notice and be influenced by it. Your colleagues will notice, and you will just feel more competent and confident in your own life. So my challenge to you is really more of a call to action, and it's to start thinking about this, about how you might step up in your life as the leader that you were always born to be. One of the foolproof ways to know if you're behaving like a leader is asking this question: what am I blaming in my life? What am I blaming for how I feel or think or for how my current circumstances are? You know that you're thinking like a leader when the answer is nothing. So let's step up our leadership together, team. Let's do it this week. I'm so excited to see what happens as a result of it. I hope that you have a great day. Thanks for being here, and thank you for being ready to impact. Thanks for listening to Impact Ready. I hope today's episode inspired you to own your impact and recognize that you are powerful. By elevating our energy and awareness, we can create exponential change in this life. If you enjoyed today's insights, share them with a friend and subscribe to the show for more. I truly appreciate you. Thanks again for being here.